Welcome to Ghouls Night Out with your hostesses, Brandy and Jody.
Hello, welcome, beautiful ghouls. This is Brandy. I am here with my sister, Jody.
Hello.
So, we got a message on Facebook, and her name is Michelle, and I'm sorry I can't pull it up, so I'm not sure of your last name, but Michelle knew the guy that had that I Hate People license plate, which I was like, small world. That's awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah, so she also gave me a really good suggestion on what to do for my opening, so I'll probably do that next week. I already had my mind planned for this week, so I'll mention her next week as well.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle. That's awesome. We also got a listener story from your friend Chris that you work with. Mm-hmm. And she wrote us a quite long email with several stories, and apparently she's got a bunch more. So, yes. Thank you, Chris, for writing in so much. It says, yeah, my first write-in. I love you girls. I didn't even know what a podcast was until I met your sister Jody and we became friends at work, which we were talking about that. A lot of people don't know what podcasts are. So you guys, it's your job to spread the word and get people that you know to listen to podcasts and tell them what it is, because I didn't actually know until Jody, you told me what a podcast was, because that, like I've told you before, that was my favorite part of my day, was my drive into work in the morning, because they had those talk radio shows on in the morning on, just regular radio shows. And then I was like, what, this like a thing that you can download and people talk and that's what you can listen. It's like,
I know, I didn't know what they were either. I just happened to notice the little podcast emblem thing on my phone. I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
So I pull it up and I didn't really know what it was. So I pulled up comedy.
Right.
So it was basically stand-up comedy that you just listen to.
Yeah.
And I kind of got bored with that, and I was like, I wonder what else they have. So I started typing in, stuff that I'm interested in.
Right.
I was like, oh my God.
I know. And then you told me about it, because I who knows what we were talking about, but you said something about real ghost stories online. I was like, what is that? What is that? So yeah, you totally got me hooked. So yeah, you guys just ask people if they listen to podcasts. I've been asking people, and the last two people that I've asked, they were like, no, what is that?
Exactly. I've run into the same thing. What's a podcast?
Yeah. So yeah, just don't assume that people are as smart as we are, and they don't know. So anyway, sorry, Chris, back to your email. She says, my mom would have loved you both. Every podcast I listen to, I can relate to one story, if not more. Today I was listening to episode 19, and on this one, Jody was talking about the angel of death visiting the wrong room. Well, I do believe there's a such thing, and here's why. My son Jonathan, at the time, was 10 years old, and his grandpa was in hospice. Jonathan's room was down the hall from his grandpa, and when he laid in bed, he could see Grandpa Jack. One night, Jonathan went to sleep and woke up, and when he looked down the hall, like he did all the time, he saw a black cat on Grandpa's chest. Terrified, he closed his eyes, and when he reopened his eyes, the cat was now sitting on Jonathan's chest. Oh my gosh, that would creep me out. Poor kid.
Yeah, really.
Jonathan screamed, and my ex-husband came running in to see what was wrong. Jonathan explained to him about the cat. Now, I want to point out we never owned a cat. With my son being so upset, my ex-husband called me and said, what should I do? Me, as always, being the calm one and a believer in all of this stuff, not to mention being a fast thinker, I said, put Jonathan on the phone. I had my son tell me the story, and afterwards I explained to him that angels come down from heaven to help guide our loved ones to heaven. I continued to explain to him that angels can be in human form or animal form, whichever they feel will not scare you. Of course, it scared the shit out of him. LOL. And that is when he saw the cat on Grandpa's chest. He was letting Grandpa Jack know that it was time, and when he reopened his eyes and saw the cat then on his own chest, the angel was letting him know that it was time for Grandpa to leave and not to be scared or sad when he does. His grandpa died 2 days later.
Creepy.
That is creepy. I mean, you gotta think, what I mean, and again, we've had this conversation so many times, but what would you do? You saw this mystery cat in your house. I mean, just
I don't.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be and to be 10 and see this. Oh no. So another story to go along with this. My mom passed last March. She was diagnosed with leukemia, and when she was in the hospital, I moved in there with her for 12 weeks to care for her. During the first few weeks, we talked about death because leukemia is very difficult to cure, at least what she had, and the stage that it was in. We talked about her best friend Pam, who passed away several years ago. Mom told me that Pam came to visit and told her, go away, I'm not ready to leave yet. And then there was no more visits until towards the end. Several times my mom would be laying in bed and she would look to the corner. Her face would glow and she would have this huge smile on her face and wave. I looked over to the corner and no one was there. But I knew who it was and I didn't need to ask because it was so heartbreaking to know that her time was near the end. It wasn't more than 2 or 3 days before my mom slipped into a coma and passed. Pam and my mom were the Thelma and Louise of their time, and they were always together. They were friends from grammar school, and Pam could not wait for my mom to join her. So is there such thing as the angel of death? Absolutely. I've experienced it through my mom, and they say that when you see people who have passed, they are there to guide you home. The night my mom passed, her minister received a letter from a mutual friend of theirs, and the letter went on to thank her for being her best friend and minister and being there for her and her family. It went on to say how glorious it was. My mom was the one who used that word a lot, not a word most used. If she would have known it was this great, she would have left months ago. She wanted to reassure us that she was at peace and she would always keep in touch with us, and there was a lot of other stuff said, which was so reassuring to us that she was truly at peace. The kicker to this is no one outside the immediate family and her minister knew my mom passed. Her friend John told the minister, I'm not sure why Sandy dragged me out of bed at midnight to make me write this to you, so I hope she is doing okay and know that we are all hoping for a miracle. As much as we cried, we were very happy to hear this, and my mom's visits often and drives my dogs nuts. After Mom passed, we were planning the funeral, and she had already told me what she wanted to wear, but there was this one necklace my mom always wore, and I couldn't find it. I was talking to her minister, and I had mentioned that I couldn't find Mom's necklace. She responded that my mom had lost it and wasn't sure if she had left it in the hospital or if it dropped out of her pocket coming home. This was the only thing I truly wanted. It wasn't expensive, but this necklace meant a lot to my mom. One night, about 2 or 3 days after her death, my sister and I were in her room again looking for this necklace. My sister yells out, "Mom, where's the necklace?" Me, a little surprised, she did. I said, "I told you Mom lost this necklace." My sister turned around from the dresser, and as I sat on the bed, and she said, "Chris, Mom is a spirit now and should be able to lead us to this necklace." No sooner did my sister say that, I was drawn to this turtle on my mom's dresser. I was like pushed up to get up, so I did, and walked over to this turtle. I went to pick it up, and the shell came off, and there fell out the necklace we had been looking for.
Crazy.
That is crazy. Months passed after Mom's death, and my nephew had moved to Indy and moved in with us until he could find a job. After 3 months, he moved out and called me and said, "I can't find my Social Security card." I had it, and now it's gone, so of course we went over all the spots it could be. I told him to recheck all of the boxes in his car, and he was really upset because he was starting a new job in a few days and needed to bring it with him. That night, I went up to my room to go to bed. I had a picture of me and my mom next to my bed. I said, "Mom, help Thomas find his Social Security card." As I went to turn down the covers, I was instructed firmly to go into the room where he slept and look under this one corner of the bed skirt. I did as I was told, and guess what? Yep, the Social Security card was laying right there. Mom always had a way to make you do as she stated. Even after passing, we've always had a strong connection between the two of us. The Friday night before I found out my mom was diagnosed with leukemia, that night I sat in the backyard just crying my eyes out. At the time, my fiance said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I don't know," but I couldn't stop crying. The next day when my mom called to tell me her diagnosis, we cried, and I found out that she had been crying all night Friday because she had already known but wasn't sure how to tell us kids. I'm very happy that even after death we still have this connection. Well, I could go on, but I think this is long enough. Like I said, I have many stories and will continue to share. P.S. I want to encourage all listeners to write in. Not only do the sisters love stories, but so do us listeners. Take a moment and write in. It doesn't matter what it's about, even if it's something you heard on a prior podcast because you started listening. Look, I'm writing about episode 19 and they're on what, 34? LOL. Jody and Brandy, keep up the great work. I love listening to your podcast. It makes my work day go by fast. Of course, some people think I'm nuts because I sit there and laugh my ass off, but I was one that never cared what people think anyway. That's probably why Jody and I get along so great. Chris, thank you so much for writing in. And yes, please continue to share. That was awesome. We really appreciate it. And we do want to encourage people to, one, write in, but also subscribe. If you guys subscribe, that's going to bring us up on the list, where the more subscribers that we have, the higher up on the list that we get, and the more people notice us. So,
and rate
subscribe.
us too.
Yeah, rate, review, subscribe, do all that. That gets the word out as well. That will help us so much get more listeners, and we'll, have more listeners writing into us to give us content and all that good stuff that we want to hear. So,
Yes.
So yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
I have a surprise.
What?
We have our first fan gifts.
Shut up.
Yes. You want to see it?
Yeah.
This is actually from Chris.
Oh my gosh.
She got us Ghouls Night Out stickers for our back window of our cars.
Oh my god. Yes! I'm so excited. Thank you. That is awesome. How the fuck does she do that? Yay. Oh my gosh.
She wanted it to be a surprise for me too.
Yeah.
But she needed to get the PDF of the logo. So that didn't quite work out.
That is great. I love it. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
Isn't it cool?
Yes. I know. I can't stop looking at it. That's so awesome.
So now we can put it in our car windows and other people will see it.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Yeah, I tried to do that, and you know how that turned out.
Our little 2x2 stickers.
I got itty bitty little ones. I mean, they're cute, but yeah, they're not going to be effective.
They're good for like water bottles and stuff. But
very exciting. Okay, yay. Okay, so I do have something to start off the show. I did the creepiest thing about you according to your zodiac sign. And I got this from Ranker, and it is an article by Maggie Clendenin. I believe I said that right. So the first one is Aries, which is March 21st through April 19th, which that's me. Mine's March 29th. And it says, you are shockingly violent. There's no getting around this, Aries. You desperately need to attend anger management. You're just as headstrong and opinionated as your fellow fire signs, Leo and Sagittarius, but unlike them, your energy and enthusiasm can turn into explosive violence at the drop of a hat. You're a walking time bomb of seething rage, and the more you try to hide it, the more it escapes it in unpredictable, volatile mood swings. Do yourself a favor and invest in a stress ball or a gym membership before you do something you'll really regret.
that does not sound like you at all.
No, I get truly pissed. If you give me a reason to get pissed, but I don't think that has anything to do with my sign. I don't know. But yeah, I'm not a violent person. And my son is like the sweetest thing in the world. And he's also an Aries, so.
No.
Not true. Okay. Next is Taurus, which is April 20th to May 20th, which is my daughter.
Wait, what was the dates on the Aries?
March 21st to April 19th.
Oh, that's Peyton.
Yeah.
He's not that way either.
No. Not at all. No. I mean, I don't know, maybe if you gave us a reason, if someone fucked with my kids, I would probably kill them.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a little true. I don't know. Okay, so Taurus, April 20th through May 20th, your possessiveness is really uncomfortable. It's obvious to everyone around you that you feel the need to keep everything just the way you like it, and that insistence often borders on obsession. Your persistence, materialism, and sentimentality can prevent you from ever letting things go, and the more you care about them, the more stubbornly you defend your right to own them forever. Sorry to say, Taurus, but there are some things like memories and loved ones you simply can't own, and trying to stake your claim over them just makes you seem unbalanced and creepy. It probably wouldn't hurt to quit being such a hoarder, too. None of your guests enjoy trying to find a seat in your room piled high with reminders of everything you refuse to let die. That's actually really tearing a lot. She keeps everything. Her room is a disaster, and she is attached at my hip.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Gemini, which is May 21st through June 20th. You are a two-faced liar.
Oh, well.
Your friends know you talk behind their backs, Gemini. Not that you're a bad person, you just can't help letting other people know how you really feel about some of the crazy stuff your loved ones have told you. Unfortunately, you've talked and talked and talked, and now they all know you'll talk if they confide in you. You know it too, and you still can't help it. No matter how hard you try, you simply can't force yourself to be as loyal or honest as you want to be. At least you're charming enough to keep making new friends and replacing the ones who felt too hurt or betrayed to trust you again. That's not good.
Alrighty.
Next one, Cancer, is June 21st through July 22nd. You get off on being wronged. Cancer, you do so much for the people you love, and though you don't like to admit it, you think you deserve more than they give back. What you probably like to admit even less is the only thing you love more than caring for your loved ones is reveling in the overdeveloped martyr complex. You don't just think you're getting the short end of the stick, you know you are, and that knowledge only strengthens the perception of yourself as the strong, suffering caregiver who soldiers on in the face of mistreatment and ill fortune. The truth is, Cancer, you are extremely overinvested in knowing that people depend on you, and the satisfaction of being needed only exacerbates your perpetuating victim complex. Leo. July 23rd through August 22nd, which is my husband. Mm-hmm. You're a narcissistic monster. Which is not wrong. You're the best, right, Leo? Wherever you go, the spotlight finds you, and you're hardly complaining. You can't imagine your friends care, since after all, you're so generous. Well, that's what you like to think about yourself. You're generous, enthusiastic, and fun, so you compulsively steal the spotlight. It doesn't really matter if you fuel drama just to feed your thirst for the dramatic life. Is it really that bad? Is it really wrong of you to be the center of attention? Does it really matter how other people feel about it in the long run? Of course you'd say no. You're the generous friend, and you'd never hurt anyone on purpose just to keep all eyes on you, right? Every now and then you imagine your funeral and how all of your friends will go on and on about how wonderful, magnetic, charming, and generous you weren't. Oh my gosh. That's a little accurate. Okay. Next one is Virgo, August 23rd through September 22nd. You are a disturbing control freak. Caring for people and things does not work the way you think it does. You are so invested in making sure that everything around you is perfect that instead of showing you care, you plan and control without asking for any input, which of course you justify by telling yourself that you aren't burdening anyone else with any extra work. You show dedication and attention to everything the same way you would a bonsai tree. Meticulous maintenance, control, planning, and foresight. You call this dedication, but it's not. It's needing personal control so badly that you've confused it for real connection, which is not really a great quality in a friend, but a very helpful quality in an aspiring serial killer.
Oh, wow. Sorry, whoever, what was that?
Virgo.
Virgo.
I know some Virgos. That's not wrong about them. Next one, Libra, September 23rd to October 22nd. You empathize perfectly with horrific people. Everyone knows how empathetic and fair-minded you are, Libra, but put a lot of effort into keeping it that way, demonstrating time and again that you only make a decision after giving equal weight to every contributing factor. This has given you a reputation for being a little flaky, but also for being personable, kind, and just. It's a reputation you prize because you want to live the life of someone peaceful and fair, and you take great pride in being sure that the decisions you make are the right ones, not just for you, but for those around you. Being fair-minded, though, isn't a one-way street. You give equal weight to every opinion before deciding, and sometimes that means taking a walk in the shoes of someone whose morals deeply horrify you. All that kindness, justice, and peace is built on the ability to sympathize with the worst of the worst. You can go on pretending you're unspeakably horrified by hatred and violence, but that won't stop you from knowing exactly what it would take for them to consume you. Next one is Scorpio, October 23rd through November 21st. You get too excited about the objectively terrifying. Scorpio, something is very wrong with the internal compass that points you to the things that interest and motivate you. Your passions aren't like everyone else's. The more intensely upsetting something is, the more you are drawn to and repulsed by it in an equal measure. Crime, tragedy, and taboo will grab your attention over anything else, and you'll stay fascinated long after anyone else who has lost the stomach to keep going. Even you aren't what this means about you, but you know better than to talk about it because you're afraid someone might confirm what you already suspect. No one stares into the abyss as long as you without having a little abyss inside in the first place. I always think I'm kind of that person that would push myself to, because I'm interested in them. I think we all are, you know, but I can't go too far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have to stop at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, next one is Sagittarius. This is November 22nd through December 21st. You're the perfect cult leader. You, Sagittarius, are an aspiring friend and leader, and you know it. You're optimistic, adventurous, and imaginative, and your wanderlust and thirst for new ideas have helped you cultivate a wide net of friends and acquaintances who would follow you to the ends of the earth. It's difficult for you not to abandon your boring and restrictive everyday duties. All you want is to venture out into the world in search of a truth in which you can place your unwavering conviction, reach out to the like-minded people, and preach your truth to them. The good news is that you have the motivation, curiosity, and force of personality to actually pull it off. The bad news is that there's a name for this you want, and it's starting a cult. Abandoning the mundane world, aspiring of a gathering of followers, convincing said followers to desert life of responsibility and sanity, that's a cult, Sagittarius. Take a break from romanticizing your grand flight into a brave new world where you're visionary maverick worthy of everyone's unwavering trust, and try learning to deal with your everyday problems. In the long run, you'll probably beat convincing everyone to follow you into hell because you've left college believing that Milton's Satan was right. Next one, Capricorn, is December 22nd through January 19th. Happy birthday, Capricorns. Woo-hoo. You are an ambitious sea goat void of all emotion. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. What wouldn't you do to get ahead, Capricorn? Your compatriots admire you for your ambition and determination, and you can't imagine a world where those qualities could be a burden to you. It's not like you're wrong. What a ridiculous notion. You're never wrong. But while your fierce focus can carry you far, the same can't be said for those who don't get out of your way fast enough. Why should that matter to you? After all, they're responsible for their own circumstances, and so are you. You're just doing your best like anyone else would. You wouldn't care if they went to extreme lengths to come out on top at your expense. You might, but only because they're now between you and your goals, and if you have it your way, which you eventually always do, they won't be there for very long. They seem determined. Mm-hmm. Next one, Aquarius, which is January 20th through February 18th. Your idea of fixing the world is blatantly sociopathic. The human condition needs curing, and you're the perfect sign to do it. You now know to change the world for the better, and you don't need pesky things like empathy to tell you which improvements you should make. It's not your job to think about people and their feelings. You have work to do. You know that the world needs you and your innovative talents, and you don't have the time to care about other people's irrational feelings or biases or lives. You can't afford to coddle everyone who might be hurt in the process of improving society. You have so much to do that you don't have time to explain how it's all going to be for the best. Sometimes sacrifices have to be made. That's part of innovation. Everyone around you can be as shocked as they want by your clinical disregard for the actual people who compromise the society you're trying to save, but you don't care. They'll get over it. You have work to do. So much work to do. Okay, next one is, and the last one is Pisces.
That's me.
Which is Jody. February 19th through March 20th. You are an emotionally volatile nightmare.
Oh. Excuse me.
Your heart guides you, Pisces, and sometimes that's not as dreamy or romantic as it might sound. It's true that your feelings often inspire you to heal and create, and as long as those feelings don't steer you wrong, you're capable of truly visionary accomplishments in the name of empathy and love. Feelings, though, aren't always gentle and sweet. You know that better than anyone because your own emotions, the same overwhelming forces that inspire you to make the world a better place, can take you to very dark places, especially if you believe that the subject of your ire has shown unwarranted cruelty towards you or something you hold dear. You know that your feelings aren't necessarily rational, but that doesn't stop you from dramatically blaming other people for causing you pain. Of course, you might not even stop at crying. That notoriously brilliant creativity might even spur you to express your own wrath artistically. Nothing says emotional stability like Moros vengeful poem. Sorry, I really fucked yours
that
up.
does not sound like me. I don't even.
I didn't know you were into poetry. Maybe you just want
I
to.
fucking hate poetry, okay?
Maybe you just want to hit a table with a hammer.
Hey, I make something beautiful out of it.
That's
at the
right.
end.
That's right. That's right. It's okay.
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 You were done, right?
Yes.
Okay. I did Ghosts of Utah.
All right.
Not Ohio, but Utah. All right. So, just so everyone knows, I'm sure everyone knows this already. I'm going to be butchering some words. So
We do that in every state.
Just a
it
heads
seems
up.
like, so. It's all right.
McCune Mansion in Salt Lake City. McCune Mansion was built in 1901 and took around 3 years and $1 million to build. These days, it is used as a venue for weddings and lots of other types of celebrations. There are said to be 2 different apparitions that are haunting the building. A man in a black cape, Batman, and a little girl of about 10 years of age who particularly enjoys when there are weddings taking place.
Aw.
There's a picture of a girl hanging in the mansion, so she was obviously a former resident. She is often spotted at weddings where she can be seen dancing and giggling. On the other hand, the man is usually seen around Christmas time.
Did you say she was hanging? Like hanging around? Or.
There's a picture of the girl hanging in the mansion. Did I not say the picture?
Well, is she. That's fine. But is she hanging? Like. That's how she died?
No.
Or she just hanging
there's
around?
a picture of the girl hanging in the mansion.
Oh! Oh my god! I thought she was hanging.
No.
I thought it was a picture of a girl hanging. And I was like, holy shit!
No! Oh my
Little
God.
girl hung herself?
And they took a picture of it and hung it up in the mansion.
Oh my god. Okay, moving on.
Whew, all right. Mountain Meadows Massacre in VO. According to records, the Mountain Meadows Massacre happened back in 1857 when a group of settlers were brutally murdered by Mormon militia. Somewhere between 100 and 140 people perished during the massacre. It is now said to be one of the most haunted areas in Utah. Visitors tell tales of hearing the cries of the victims being carried on the wind and say that they feel a terrible wave of sadness overcoming them.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah. Rock Canyon in Provo. Rock Canyon in Provo is a popular climbing spot, but only for experienced climbers. There have been a number of deaths due to climbers losing their grip on the steep rock face and plummeting into the canyon below. These tragic deaths have contributed to the negative energy in the area, and the surrounding campgrounds are believed to be haunted. The most common sighting is of a man standing on one of the high rocky ledges. He is said to stare down at the living before running straight towards them at an impossible angle down the steep rock face.
Oh, no.
Fuck no!
Oh my god!
He vanishes into thin air just before he is about to make contact with the ground.
Oh my god.
Could you imagine seeing that?
No.
No way!
It'd be so creepy and so cool at the same time. I wouldn't know what to do.
Well, I know I'd fall off the mountain.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Devereaux Mansion in Salt Lake City. The oldest part of the Devereaux Mansion dates back to 1857, when it was built by William C. Staines, a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, who traveled to Salt Lake City from England with the first pioneer groups. It changed hands several times over the next few years and was almost destroyed by fire in 1979. Since then, it has been renovated and opened as a restaurant and wedding venue. It is also said to be incredibly haunted. There are at least 2 ghosts who call the Devereaux Mansion home. The first is a young girl who has a particular affinity for playing tricks on the kitchen staff. She is also known to wave at people at night. The second spirit is thought to be either the former lady of the house or a head housekeeper. In contrast to the cheerful little girl, she is said to be far more aggressive towards visitors, although it is believed that she believes she is simply protecting the mansion from misuse. Okay, here's one I don't know how to pronounce. Old Toole Hospital?
Let me see that. Oh, that's not what I thought it was.
Oh.
I think it might be Tuella, or I think it's Tuel or Tuella.
Tuel?
Something like
Something
that.
like that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's in Tuel, Utah. In 1873, Tuel Hospital was built as a family home for Samuel F. Lee. However, in 1913, it had been turned... That does not make sense.
Typo.
Anyway, it turned into a home for the elderly. These days, it is unique in that half of the property is still a nursing home and the other half is a haunted attraction. It is also one of the most haunted places in Utah. Lots of people have described the ghost of a little girl named Jessica, who will follow them around, while others comment on a former patient named Wes. There are also reports of the original owner, Samuel F. Lee, haunting the building. There is also a much darker and more malevolent force in the abandoned section of the hospital, and no one is keen to go there on their own. Mercure Cemetery, or Mercer maybe, in Tuel. Old cemeteries are pretty creepy at the best of times, but when there are reports of paranormal activity in the area, it gets that little bit more terrifying. This is a case with Mercer Cemetery in Tuel, Utah, which is said to be one of the most haunted cemeteries in Utah. It has been said that a phantom horseman gallops across the cemetery at night, and many visitors report hearing phantom footsteps and seeing shadowy figures. Interestingly, it seems like most of the spirits haunting the cemetery are actually children, but it's not clear why.
Aww.
There's a lot of kids and
I don't like that.
kid ghosts in Utah.
I don't like that.
Moon Lake in High Untas? Uintas?
Untas.
Sounds good to me. At first glance, Moon Lake is a beautiful and placid location. It is no surprise that it is a popular campsite. However, appearances can be deceptive, and this spot is actually one of the most haunted places in the state. Those who camp there often find themselves encountering the ghost of a young girl who has clearly been the victim of drowning in the lake. She appears dripping wet, and her skin is bloated and tinged with blue. It seems that she does not fully understand that she has passed and is looking for her family. Moon Lake is also said to be home to a water-dwelling cryptid that looks like a giant serpent.
Ooh.
Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Southern Utah University is allegedly very haunted, and there have been plenty of tales of the paranormal from students and faculty members alike. One of the most common occurrences is a ghostly pianist who regularly plays Deep Purple in Braithwaite Fine Arts Gallery. Apparently, she has been due to play the song at junior prom, but died before she had the chance.
Oh.
This is not the only musical spirit that is said to haunt the Southern Utah University campus. In Old Main, there is said to be a specter named Virginia who plays unnerving flute music.
Ooh, wait. You said unnerving?
Unnerving.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Ooh.
Like creepy, I guess. I don't know.
I love it.
She has also been blamed for setting the building on fire in 1948 on the 50th anniversary of her death.
Oh my gosh.
She was apparently found brutally murdered and draped over a large piece of sandstone. That same rock was apparently used in the building, which is why she is tied to the building, making it one of the most haunted buildings in Utah.
Very interesting.
Rio Grande Depot in Salt Lake City. The Rio Grande Depot is said to be haunted by a spirit known as the Purple Lady. It is believed that she died when she chased down an engagement ring which was thrown into the path of a train. It is said she haunts the ladies' restrooms, although she is often spotted in other spots around the depot. The Purple Lady is not alone in haunting the Rio Grande Depot. There is also a man haunting the building. It is said that he died during construction of the depot's tunnel. He is now said to haunt the basement.
Okay, what is the attraction to bathrooms?
I don't know.
That is like a common thing.
Yeah. And when you watch like ghost hunters and stuff, they're always having to go in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Because there's
You're
ghosts
right.
in there.
And there's like sinks coming on and shit.
Yeah.
And you can see feet under the door. It's weird.
Ugh.
That's like the most vulnerable
Exactly.
place.
That's what I was just getting ready to say.
Whatever. Stay out of the bathroom, ghosts.
Ben Lomond Hotel in Ogden. The Ben Lomond Hotel is one of the most haunted hotels in Utah. It was originally a boarding house, and during the Prohibition era, a tunnel was built to smuggle alcohol. It became a popular haunt among prostitutes and unscrupulous individuals. These days, it is haunted by a number of spirits, including those of a mother and son. In room 1102, a lady drowned in the bathtub on her wedding night. Now guests who stay in that room report the water in the tub running by itself, and some have even described being pushed under the water by unseen hands.
Oh, shit.
That's straight out of a horror movie.
Oh my god, yeah.
However, there is more to the story. After the bride died, her son came to the hotel to collect her belongings and stayed in the room next door. He was overcome with sadness and he took his own life. Now he is said to be haunting the hotel.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
That's sad. Bigelow Hotel and Residences in Ogden, Utah. It says formerly Ben Lomond Hotel.
Weird.
Yeah. Surrounded by the natural beauty of Utah and noted for its Italian Renaissance Revival architecture, the Ben Lomond Hotel has a long history of spooky rumors, as well as legends of ghostly guests, including a mother and son who decided to stay together long after death.
Oh my gosh. That is crazy.
That's all I got.
Okay. I did this week times the supernatural saved lives and served up justice. Or served
Awesome.
justice. In March of 2015, Utah police officers investigated a damaged, partially submerged car in the Spanish Fork River. As they got closer, they clearly heard a young female voice cry out from the car, "Help me, we're in here." Police immediately went to work and they pulled the wreck out of the river and tipped it right side up. Inside, they found Jennifer Grossbeck and her 18-month-old daughter, Lily. Jennifer had seemingly passed hours before, so it was unlikely that she called for help. Lily was barely conscious but alive. The emergency personnel at the scene appreciated the disembodied assist, though they never established a source for the cry of help. As Officer Tyler Beddoes put it, "For 2 nights I laid awake trying to figure out exactly what it could be. All I know is it was there. We all heard it. It was extra motivation."
It was the mom trying to save her baby.
Absolutely. Whether alive or dead.
Exactly. It didn't matter.
Oh my God. Okay. In February of 1897, in Greenbrier, West Virginia, Mary Jane Hester claimed she started receiving visits from her late daughter, Elva Zona Hester Shue, regularly at midnight. She went by Zona. So Zona had died a month prior of everlasting faint, which I don't know what that is.
Some old-timey thing.
Yeah, it's in quotes, so it's
In other words, they had no freaking idea.
everlasting faint. Oh, that's depressing.
Yeah, that's you're dead. That's what that means.
We don't know what happened, but
You're just dead.
It's everlasting. It's awful.
That's a pretty poetic way to put it. I guess.
I mean, it sounds pretty, but
Sorry. She's in an everlasting faint.
she did. That's all there is to it. She did. Oh, goodness. Though Hester suspected a more nefarious cause was to blame. When she took Zona's burial sheet home and washed it, Hester watched as the water ran red. Because of this, Hester took the situation seriously when her deceased daughter allegedly appeared in the middle of the night. Zona told Hester that her husband...
Have you heard this story before?
Yes.
Yes.
Edward, it says Aramis Edward in quotes, so he goes by Edward, Stribling Trout Shue, had snapped her neck. The specter reportedly rotated her head to show her mother what had happened. Hester immediately went to the police and told them her story. Miraculously, they believed her and exhumed Zona's body. They performed an autopsy since Edward had prevented the local coroner from examining Zona when she died. Doctors quickly discovered Zona's neck was indeed broken, and they arrested Edward for killing her.
Yep.
They seriously were like in the examining room trying to perform,
trying to perform the autopsy.
Right.
And he wouldn't go away. He wouldn't move.
Anytime they would get close, he would like fall on her and start crying and be like,
exactly.
Yes, what an asshole.
They should have known right then.
Exactly. That was a little shady right there.
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Dolly Parton, which I love Dolly Parton. The wearer of coats of many color apparently has guardians of many dimensions. The famous country singer and actress claims she received help from both her grandmothers long after they died. On one occasion, they warned her not to board a plane headed for Salt Lake City. As Parton recalls, "Suddenly I saw my grandmother's ghost standing in the corner. She kept saying, 'Don't catch that plane. Don't catch that plane.'"
Ooh, I just got chills.
I did too. Parton decided to heed the advice and switched flights. The flight crashed,
Oh my God.
leaving no survivors. Later, her guardian grannies also supposedly warned her about a potentially costly deal. Parton declined to sign a contract that would have resulted in her losing millions of dollars.
Wow.
Next one, Pawleys Island in South Carolina is known for its beautiful homes, amazing beachfront properties, and frequent hurricanes. Those who live there are aware of other island mainstay, the Gray Man, a figure dressed...
I heard about that.
Oh. A figure dressed in old-fashioned pirate's clothes. Legends state that he appears before the onset of a hurricane, and those who see him will survive with their house intact. In 1989, Jim and Clara Moore, longtime residents of Pawleys Island, say the Gray Man saved their lives. During a stroll along the beach, the Moores claim they saw no one else on the beach except for one man who was walking towards them. Jim remembers, "When I got within speaking distance, I raised my hand to say hi or beautiful evening or whatever, and he disappeared." After Hurricane Hugo hit in 1989, most homes in Moore's neighborhood ended up destroyed except for theirs. They believe it was because the gray man had come to see them on that faithful day. Another witness to the gray man, a fisherman, says he saw the figure while fishing a few miles north of Polly's. While out in the early evening, the witness alleges that he saw someone waving to him on the shore. Drawing closer, the fisherman realized the man, dressed in the garb of an old pirate, held up his hand as if to say stop. The figure disappeared from the shore, and the fisherman decided to take it as a sign. Later that night, a storm hit the area, and the fisherman credits the gray man for saving him from it. So he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Good pirate.
Arr.
Okay, in 2007, a young woman staying with a friend experienced her first paranormal activity. The friend she stayed with had a shrine dedicated to his late sister, to whom he performed a sort of daily ritual in her honor, a shot of tequila and turning on the stereo to play the song she loved. The woman says her friend assured her that as long as she stayed under his roof, his sister would protect her. One night while home alone, the woman alleged that her abusive former partner broke into the house and tried to attack her. He threatened her with a knife, and the shrine suddenly came to life. It shook violently and the candles were blown out. The crucifix flung itself at her attacker. The stereo on the memorial turned on by itself. He fled. She purposefully never heard. She never heard from him again. Just look at that word. What
Purportedly.
Huh?
Purportedly.
Purported. What is that? She purportedly? Purported? It's not a thing. I don't care. I don't care. It's not a thing. I've never heard that word. Okay. In the early 1900s, a New Jersey farmer named Charles Henry Durand barely escaped with his life thanks to the warnings he supposedly got from his late wife. According to his story, he rode home in a buggy. The horse pulling it suddenly stopped. Within moments, a ghostly woman in white appeared, which Durand recognized as his late wife. Both he and his horse remained frozen in fear as she whispered to him, "There is danger at home. Stay away till morning." As frightened as his horse, Durand was forced to spend hours unhitching the animal from the buggy so he could get home. By the time he arrived, it was already daylight, and Durand noticed a number of things amiss in his home. A window was open, and muddy footprints covered the floor. Durand also noticed a string stretched across his bedroom doorway. He set it off using his umbrella, and it triggered a gun attached to the string, creating a booby trap to shoot anyone who entered the door. Without a warning from his wife, Durand would have been struck by that trap.
What the fuck? Who goes up and just puts a booby trap in someone's house?
I know, right?
And no one was there?
Well, apparently not. It was like a robbery with a
weird.
booby trap. Yeah, let me steal your shit and kill you. What a piece of shit.
In a weird way.
Yeah.
That just doesn't make any sense.
That's weird. Okay, next one. On Christmas Eve, 2016, Shropshire resident Jane Reynolds sensed something strange afoot in her home, but she dismissed it before heading to bed. On Christmas Day at 4 a.m., she claimed an unknown force ripped her duvet off her bed and began shaking her. Before she could process this wake-up call, Reynolds heard banging and screaming coming from somewhere in her house. Afraid that her sons might be in danger, she checked on them. In their room, Reynolds saw one child, Ethan, sleeping silently, while her other child, 18-month-old George, was softly choking.
Oh.
She quickly turned him over and patted him on the back to clear his airway. Later, she realized that something or someone must have warned her. Since Ethan was sleeping and George's airway was blocked, whom did she hear screaming?
Ooh, I just got chills.
Me too. Her friends told her that 50 years prior, a family moved out of the home shortly after their baby perished.
Aww.
Reynolds believes the baby who passed had warned her about George.
Northumberland resident Sonia Burton suffered a severe heart attack in January of 2016. Arriving at work early that day, Burton began experiencing chest pains before she collapsed. Paramedics arrived at the scene quickly, but they failed to resuscitate her immediately. They transported her to the hospital, and the trip took a grueling 56 minutes, during which Burton was technically gone. While the paramedics scrambled to save her life, Burton says her late husband visited her. According to Burton, her husband said, "It's not your time, Sonia, so go back to the children." Then she came back to life. The paramedics who rescued her were astounded, and they said no one they ever saved remained departed for as long as she did. It's a near-death experience.
Yeah.
On June 6, 1994, Christine Skubish and her 3-year-old son Nick set out on the road from Sacramento, California to restart their lives. On the way, Skubish fell asleep at the wheel and crashed 40 feet into an embankment below the road. She passed instantly, and her son Nick survived, but barely. On June 10th, so that's 4 days later, Sacramento local Deborah Hoyt arose from sleep in the early morning, feeling as if she needed to leave urgently. As she and her husband traveled along Highway 50, they came across a woman lying on the side of the road. I saw this on some paranormal show, paranormal something. It's on a show.
Witness?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's actually what it is. So they came across a woman lying on the side of the road. The couple immediately phoned the police, who then investigated the area but found nothing initially. After learning of Skubish's disappearance, El Dorado County Deputy Rich Stresser decided to return to the site where the Hoyts claimed they saw the woman. Examining the area, Stresser discovered a shoe belonging to a child, which led him to discover Skubish's car in the embankment. Though exposed to the elements and on the verge of starvation when rescued, young Nick managed to live through the tragedy. Skubish's family believe it was Christine herself who tried to look out for her son one last time before her final departure.
Aww.
And my last one, in 2016, 3 buildings in Omaha, Nebraska, were slated for demolition, including the Christian Specht building. Built in 1884, it was historically significant for being the only cast iron building in all of Nebraska. In an attempt to preserve the structure, over 1,000 people signed a petition and held a rally. Even local ghost hunting team, rural investigators of the paranormal, wanted to save the building. They tried to do it in a unique way, as they went to the building and investigated it and claimed that its creator, Christian Specht, still resided there. And according to the team, they communicated with Specht through yes and no questions, asking, "Do you mind if we are in the building? Do you know this building is on the verge of getting torn down?" Thanks to the efforts of the public and ghost hunters, the building was spared from destruction.
The building was made out of cast iron?
Yeah, that's what it said.
I've never heard of that before.
It says the only cast iron building in all of Nebraska.
Huh, that's interesting.
That's crazy that they actually saved that building, because people were like, a ghost still lives here, you can't tear it down.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Now those were mine.
Yay! All right, it's time for the witty wrap-up.
Yay, whatever.
I did stories about funny DUIs. Now, we don't condone drinking and driving.
Don't drink and drive. It's not worth it.
It's
if you get
not.
caught, it's stupid. Don't do it.
Well, plus you could kill somebody.
Exactly.
But these are funny, so here we go. Have you ever seen those giant machines farmers use to harvest their crops?
Yes.
They're called combines. A man in Pennsylvania decided to drive a combine while intoxicated, hit a mailbox, and got arrested by police after he passed out in a bean field.
Oh, shit.
He faced charges of driving under the influence and hit and run.
Oh, my gosh. I bet he's like, I'm not driving. It's not a car.
That's even worse. It's like huge. It can demolish anything it comes in contact with.
Well, you don't make the best decisions when you drink.
Well, no, that's true. For some reason, men seem to enjoy riding large farm/lawn equipment while under the influence. A Minnesota man received his 9th driving while intoxicated charge while driving his lawnmower with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.28. He already lost his license to one of his DWI charges, so he figured he would be fine using his lawnmower as his primary mode of transportation. He faced charges of DWI and driving without a license. Fair warning, if you don't have a driver's license, you should probably avoid driving anything.
Yeah. And after, I would say, your third DUI, you're an official asshole. So stop it.
I know, seriously, people. Come
Oh my God.
on. Okay. Again, with men driving things that are not cars while drunk. Police pulled a man over in Indiana on Indiana State Road 135 for a few reasons.
Oh, Jesus.
One, driving on the wrong side of the road, heading north in the southbound lanes.
No.
Number 2, driving a motorized scooter. You read that right. This man stole one of those motorized scooters you find at Walmart and drove it while drunk on the wrong side of the road. Police didn't question it until they noticed the in-store use only sign on the back of the scooter. They pulled the man over and arrested him for driving under the influence and theft. Don't worry, police returned the scooter to Walmart after the arrest.
Thank God.
What would the fat people do?
Oh my gosh.
If they didn't have a scooter to ride in
They'd
Walmart?
have to walk.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. And we can say that because we're fat.
Yeah.
But we're not that fat.
Yeah, we still walk
We
around
still walk.
the store.
So, anyway, okay. Talk about lazy. A Minnesota man received a DUI for driving his motorized Lazy Boy chair to and from a local bar.
Oh my God.
First of all, let's take a second to appreciate the fact that he has a motorized Lazy Boy.
Seriously. Did he build that? I have so many questions. Did he build it?
I mean, the thing is crazy. It has a lawnmower engine, again with the lawnmowers,
Yeah.
a cup holder.
Of course.
A
You gotta
radio.
hold your beverage.
Well, yeah. A radio, a headlight, an actual Lazy Boy chair, and naturally, a National Hot Rod Association sticker.
Oh my gosh. I'm actually impressed a little.
Second of all, the man got a DUI for driving the car, or the chair. Police pulled the man over after he drunkenly crashed his chair car into an actual car. They promptly escorted him to jail and charged him with driving under the influence.
So that would hit his legs, right?
I don't know. I guess. Unless he had something on the front to steer and stuff. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, we need pictures.
Typically, when you go to a bar, you go to the bar, sit on the bar stools in the bar, then make your way back home. A man in Ohio inserted a bar stool into all 3 of the steps as opposed to just the second step.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yes, there's 3 steps. You go to the bar. You sit at the bar. You come home from
Oh, okay. Okay. He drove his motorized bar stool to the bar,
motorized bar stool.
used it there, and drove the bar stool home from the bar. The vehicle had a lawnmower engine and steering wheel, 4 wheels, and of course, a bar stool welded to a metal frame. While attempting a U-turn on the way home from the bar, he crashed the stool, drawing police attention. Needless to say, police arrested the man and charged him with DUI, even though the man admitted to driving after drinking 15 beers.
What?
He pleaded not guilty and is headed to trial.
15? How is he not dead?
Let's hope he leaves the bar stool at home that day. Stupid.
Oh my gosh.
Apparently, Australia has 3 motorized coolers called Eskies.
Okay.
They take a typical drink cooler and add a set of handlebars, wheels, and a motor, creating a convenience mode of drink transportation. Of course, genius inventions don't always work as planned. A man in Perth, Australia decided to drive his esky at home at night. This drew police attention as the coolers don't have proper lighting and are unsafe to drive at night. On top of that, he was driving in a bike lane, the place you should never drive a motorized vehicle. When police pulled him over, they found that the cooler was filled with beer, wine, and bourbon drinks, leading to him receiving a DUI charge. We all know that you can drive under the influence, but who knew you could drive on top of the influence?
No shit. You just said it's unsafe to drive a cooler. That's hilarious. How the fuck do you drive a cooler?
Well, apparently they got wheels now and handlebars.
That's crazy. I want one.
No, Brandy. You can't have one.
I would just drive it here. Like 2 seconds away.
Well, you'd have to drive it in the alley.
So you don't want me parking my cooler in front of your house?
No.
Are you embarrassed of me?
No. Not at all.
I just have to use the back alley.
Make sure you park in the garage, too. Before you accuse me of trivializing social movements, the only reason I use this phrase is because of the story. A man in Pennsylvania got a DUI charge while wearing a shirt that said, "Drunk Lives Matter." Police pulled him over for multiple traffic violations, suspected that he was under the influence, and transported him to the hospital and arrested him for driving under the influence. His blood alcohol concentration was 0.217. It's quite ironic that he chose to wear that shirt on the day he chose to put his own drunk life in danger.
He probably did it
And
on purpose.
other people's.
Yeah, no shit. Drunk lives matter.
Fuck you.
Seriously, what an asshole.
Halloween, the only holiday that notoriously involves costumes and alcohol. One Halloween, a teenager was pulled over for driving erratically. Police immediately knew the teen was drunk and took him into custody. Upon searching the vehicle, they found open containers of alcohol in the truck as well. Of course, they made sure to include in the report not only that the teen blew more than twice the .08 legal limit on the breathalyzer, but that he was also dressed as a breathalyzer. Yes, the young man dressed up as a breathalyzer for Halloween and received a charge of driving under the influence.
Oh my god.
I wonder if he dressed up as an ignition interlock the day he got the device installed in his car.
That's his costume next Halloween.
They should have made him just wear it all year round.
Yeah, seriously. That's your new outfit for the next year.
You have to wear it everywhere.
That would be hilarious. I would love it.
A man in Essex, England, was pulled over for driving one of those motorized pink Barbie cars designed for 3 to 5-year-olds while drunk.
Oh my gosh.
He and his son put bigger wheels on the car, so of course he had to take it for a spin. Unfortunately, his blood contained more than twice the legal limit of alcohol, and he was arrested for driving under the influence. He later admitted to being a complete twit for cramming his adult body into a child's car and driving it. He lost his driver's license for 3 years.
Oh my god.
The one for driving actual cars and the one for driving toy cars, and was sentenced to 12 months of probation. I guess he took Barbie's inviting Barbie girl song quite literally and decided to take her car out for a party.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh my gosh. So stupid.
I love, though, that they did that because that's what he deserved.
It's stupid.
And he was even like, yeah, I was totally dumb.
So stupid. Well, 3 years.
Yeah, that's
Losing
insane.
your license for that. A Colorado man was headed to a family wedding in Utah. While passing through Boulder, Colorado, the man arrested for riding his horse while drunk. I guess the man was arrested for riding his horse while drunk. Witnesses told police they saw the man hit the horse. He claimed he was swatting flies away. When police went to investigate, they found the man slumped on the horse's back. He dismounted and failed his field sobriety tests. Police checked the saddlebags to find beer bottles and checked the man's backpack to find a pug.
My God.
The man was arrested and taken into custody, but was able to make it to the wedding with his horse and dog in tow.
Oh my God. Could you imagine opening that backpack?
Oh, poor doggy.
Poor horse. He had to carry a douchebag around. Oh my gosh.
That's all I got.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much for listening. We really appreciate it. Again, rate, review, subscribe anywhere you listen to your podcast. We appreciate you guys so much. We've got a lot more activity on our Facebook page, so keep up that.
Please send us your stories.
Yes, send us your stories. We want to hear them. Ghouls Night Out Podcast at gmail.com. And have a great week. We will talk to you later.
Later.
Bye.